Hello, world. My name is Z, or you can call me Mr. Z. I am a web developer, and I am also a consultant at Z World Webs. My one goal is to develop custom websites that are specifically catered to your organization's needs. I completely understand that building a website is an exhilarating, exciting, and significant step in connecting with your audience. Your organization has Z potential to make a meaningful impact, whether it's supporting animal rights, advocating for equality, combating human trafficking, or honoring the brave individuals who have served our country. Your mission is too important to be held back by the challenges a website can present. And I am here to ensure that your website works for you, not against you. Whether it's maintaining, developing, or redeveloping a custom website that is specifically catered to your needs. And with that being said, I would be more than delighted to learn more about your organization and, of course, develop a website Z World is waiting for. Thank you.
Hi, friends. I'm Barry, and this is my amazing support gang, Zayden, Avery, and Bert. We're here to invite you to something truly magical, the miracle of the season.
This year, we're asking you to collect new books and board games. Yes, they must be new. And deliver them to the 2025 Chili Cook-Off, Community Pay It Forward, or your local children's ward at the hospital closest to you.
These gifts will bring comfort, imagination, and joy to children who need it most.
We also want you to read your favorite story, just like you would to your own kids, and record it for us to share on air.
Help us by purchasing these books and board games.
Open the cover and sign it with your family name, leaving the "to" blank for a nurse to fill in.
Let's celebrate the beauty of every tradition, every story, and every act of love.
Tell us about your favorite holiday memories. What did you celebrate? What moments with family and community do you cherish most?
Your voice could bring a beloved tale to someone who's never heard it before.
Businesses, we need you too. Sponsorships help us reach more families and make this season truly miraculous. Join us in showing your love for the community. Join us
for the miracle of the season.
Visit communitypayitforward.us to learn more, get involved, and share your story.
What if every small business purchase counts? What if every purchase could change a life? With Community Pay It Forward, your business becomes a force for good. Join the movement. Get listed. Make impact with every transaction. New customers. Your business, their mission. One app, one community. Download now at communitypayitforward.us.
Wonderful morning to you all. My name is Zach. I guess it's afternoon for most of you. And to all of our friends over across the pond, hello. My name is Zak Clayton. I am the president and founder of Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the PAC channels. I would like to welcome any of our European brethren who are and sister who are watching and getting ready to enjoy a just absolute fun time I had with our guest today, Mr. Joel from Rewired for Men. We had a wonderful, wonderful conversation. We really, really had a great time. But before I get to Joel, we have a very important event coming up, and we need you to participate. Up here, the red QR code. If you scan that, you can be part of something special. And this is for everyone in the world. Okay, this is not an American thing. It's not a Christian thing. It's not a anything. This is for everyone. It's called a miracle of the season. Okay, we are sick and tired of people finding fault in everything. We're sick and tired of people saying, you're not like me, so we're going to put some distance between us. Let's get rid of that distance. Okay, let's get back to, you know what? You are you. I celebrate you. I love the fact that you're different than I am, because by God, if you were like me, there's already a me. I don't need another me. I've already got a me. So please join us on a miracle of the season. If you are in the States, if you are in particularly Kansas, Nebraska, Wyoming, and of course here in Colorado, coming up this Sunday, we've got the chili cook-off. It's our 8th annual chili cook-off, and there is still space available for you to come and join us. But you need to get in now, okay? The green QR code to my corner, that corner over there, down in the corner, is how you can get involved. Sponsors, we still need your help. What we're doing is we're putting books into hospitals all over northern Colorado. And as you saw in that video, what we ask you to do is write to and from, put your family name in the from. This is from the so-and-so family, and then deliver it to us here at Community Pay It Forward, or take it to your local hospital and give it to your children's ward at your local hospital and tell them, hey, we're part of a worldwide initiative to get books for kids in hospitals in their time of need. So, but today we are going to be talking a little bit about a couple holiday celebrations. Okay, this does not particularly mean it happens in December, but these are some other people's celebrations, what they celebrate. Not everybody celebrates Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever. So we are going through and we are introducing a lot of the celebrations from around the world. We'd like to welcome you to the miracle of the season, where every tradition shines and every story matters. Absolutely every story matters. I am again Zak Clayton, and together we're celebrating the heart of winter through culture, kindness, and connection. During each show, we'll explore how communities around the world honor this season with light and laughter and love, from ancient rituals to modern miracles. And we'll share the voices, values, and vibrant traditions that make this time of year truly magical. So grab yourself a warm drink and open your heart, and let's come together for a season of stories, spirit, and celebration. One of the things that I have learned about doing this series in preparation for the miracle is the word in the word that keeps appearing in all of these celebrations is the word renewal. Renewal. We're getting ready to, this one's gone, this year, this time is gone. It's out of here. I'm done with it. I'm not doing it no more. Let's carry on. It's kind of funny because Joel and I talk about that a little bit later too, because you just got to be able to move on. So a lot of these celebrations, that's exactly what this is. Today, we're going to start talking about Lunar New Year, a global celebration of renewal. So we're going to start today's journey with the celebration that lights up homes across Asia and beyond, the Lunar New Year. What is Lunar New Year? Well, Lunar New Year marks the beginning of the new year based on The lunar calendar, lunar being moon, it's celebrated by millions across China, Vietnam, Korea, Malaysia, Singapore, and many other countries. The date changes each year, usually falling in between late January and mid February. Some of the key traditions for this celebration are fireworks and lion dances, symbolizing driving away the evil spirits and welcoming good fortune. Red envelopes filled with money and given to children and elders as blessings. I could use a little bit of that. And a lot of this family feasts, dishes like dumplings, sticky rice cakes, and whole fish represent prosperity and unity. Okay, I'm not a fish guy, so I could go without that. I can't say I'm not a fish guy, but for me, I just need to learn where you can catch fish sticks, and then I'll be good. If we can find the place where you can catch the fish stick, I'm in. But all that other fish, just not for me. Lantern festivals held on the 15th day mark the end of the celebrations with glowing lanterns and riddles. Some cultural highlights. In Vietnam, it's called Tet, and it includes ancestral offerings and peach blossom decorations. That sounds beautiful. In South Korea, Seola, Solao features traditional hanbok clothing, games, and honoring ancestors. The Chinese zodiac, and this is, you see it at every Chinese restaurant, and I definitely don't want to minimalize this because it's very important, but you see it every Chinese restaurant. You have the, year of the bear, year of the snake, year of the wolf, whatever it is. So the Chinese zodiac assigns an animal to each year. 2025 is the year of the snake, symbolizing wisdom and transformation. Values at the heart. Lunar New Year is about renewal, family, and hope. It's a time to clean the house, sweeping away bad luck, settle debts, and start fresh with gratitude and joy. How you can celebrate locally. Try making dumplings or spring rolls with loved ones. Share red envelopes with kind notes or small gifts. Attend a local Lunar New Year event or parade. I said this about I said this about an event, Hanukkah, and I'd like to say this about all events. If you are in the Colorado area and you know of some of these celebrations, I would welcome an invitation to come and hang out with you. I'd love to see what these are about. I'd love to attend all of these. Uh, Again, I am very culturally curious. And that's why this is such an important thing for me, is that I get to look at all these and I get to learn why these celebrations are so important to different cultures. And that to me is very important. So if you know of somebody, please reach out to me. I'd love to hear about it. Learn how to say Happy New Year in Mandarin. Okay, get ready because I'm probably going to screw this up. It is called. Let's see here. Xinyan Lu. So Xinyan Kuai Lu is Happy New Year. Xinyan Kuai Lu. Xinyan meaning New Year. Or no. Xian, which is Xinyan, is Happy New Year. Kuai Lu is happy. So it's Xinyan is New Year. Kuai Lu is happy. So They actually do it backwards, which is really interesting. So, Xin Yin Kuai Lu. I learned something more today. So, that is Lunar New Year. If I may suggest, if any of that sounds interesting, please reach out to us to learn a little bit more. Maybe we can learn this together. If you celebrate the Lunar New Year and you'd like to come on and talk about it, record yourself and share with others, we welcome you to do this. It would be fantastic to have your voice talk about the things that you and your family celebrate. Next is one that is extremely important to me because I now have a son who is part of this culture. He's a wonderful kid. He's one of the. It's weird to say he's still young. He's in his mid-20s, and he's one of the elders of his tribe in Oklahoma. So, but he is just the most courteous young man you'll ever meet, and really proud of him. Really proud of all my kids, but he's every time I talk to him, very very respectful, but he's very very proud of his culture, and so I'm extremely proud to bring you Indigenous winter celebrations honoring Earth, ancestors, and community. So now we're going to turn to the wisdom and warmth of Indigenous winter traditions rooted in storytelling, ceremony, and connection to the land. Diverse traditions across the nation's Indigenous communities and across North America and beyond honor winter and beyond America and beyond honor winter as a sacred time. While practices vary by tribe and region, common themes include reflection, storytelling, and spiritual renewal. Some of the key elements are winter solstice, which we talked about last week. Winter solstice was one that, previous to calendars and all the clocks and all this other stuff. Winter solstice is how people told time. Winter solstice is how people were able to keep dates. Planting, farming, celebrating. Winter solstice was so important for such a long time. Still is to a lot of people. Ceremonies, winter solstice ceremony, the longest night and the return of the sun, often include drumming, dancing, and prayers. Oral storytelling. Elders share creation stories, legends, and teachings that guide the community. Feasts and food sharing. Corn, wild rice, venison, and berries are shared in gratitude and remembrance. Craft and regalia making. Winter is a time for creating traditional clothing, beadwork, and tools. Different examples of celebrations are okay, and please, if I try to state this every time, if I mess up on these names and you would like to help guide me through them, I invite you to please come on and learn me a thing or two. Okay, help me understand what I'm saying. I want to be able to say this properly and honor your culture properly. So please, if you can, join me and we can record this and you can help me pronounce these correctly. So, Ghost must think that we're talking about him on this one. So, it's just, we're not. This one is Haudenosaunee. Uh, uh, Haudenosaunee Midwinter Ceremony. Haudenosaunee. The Haudenosaunee, also known as the Iroquois Confederacy hold a midwinter ceremony that includes the stirring of ashes, dream sharing, and tobacco offerings. Anishinaabe. The Anishinaabe honor the winter solstice with teachings about the cycles of life and the spirit world. Kivgiq Festival. In Alaska, the Kivgiq Festival among the Inupiat people. The Inupiat peoples include dancing, gift giving, and inter-village gatherings. So there's just a couple of the different traditions. And again, these are only 3 of them. There are many, many, many others. If you would like to tell about your Indigenous celebrations, again, the QR code up in the corner, get in there. Let's celebrate. Let's talk about it. Tell us about what you and your tribe, you and your group does to honor your elders, honor your land, honor your traditions. I really want to hear this, and so do other people. Some of the core values of Indigenous celebrations are community healing and unity. It also includes honoring cycles of seasons, life, and spirit. How do you celebrate respectfully? Attend public Indigenous-led events or solstice gatherings. Support Native artists and storytellers, and learn about the land you live on and its original stewards. Practice gratitude and reflection. Light a candle, share a story, or offer a prayer. This one, again, I'm not going to get too political in all this, but the truth is, this is one of them that should be celebrated by us all. They are the originals. They were here way before any of us. So, these celebrations, Lunar New Year and Indigenous winter traditions, remind us that that the miracles of the season is not just about gifts and glitter, it's about renewal, reverence, and relationships. Whether you're lighting lanterns or listening to elders, you're a part of something timeless and beautiful. Let's keep coming together, honoring each tradition, making this season a miracle for all. I want to thank you for being part of that lesson. We've got a couple more that we're doing, and then I'm going to record them all at once, which is going to play a couple times during the miracle of the season. So, which is coming up very short, but we need you to be part of the miracle.
Hi, friends. I'm Barry, and this is my amazing support gang, Zayden, Avery, and Bert. We're here to invite you to something truly magical, the miracle of the season.
This year, we're asking you to collect new books and board games. Yes, they must be new. And deliver them to the 2025 Chili Cook-Off, Community Pay It Forward, or your local children's ward at the hospital closest to you.
These gifts will bring comfort, imagination, and joy to children who need it most.
We also want you to read your favorite story, just like you would to your own kids, and record it for us to share on air.
Help us by purchasing these books and board games.
Open the cover and sign it with your family name, leaving the 2 blank for a nurse to fill in.
Let's celebrate the beauty of every tradition, every story, and every act of love.
Tell us about your favorite holiday memories. What did you celebrate? What moments with family and community do you cherish most?
Your voice could bring a beloved tale to someone who's never heard it before.
Businesses, we need you too. Sponsorships help us reach more families and make this season truly miraculous. Join us in showing your love for the community. Join us
for the miracle
of the season. Visit communitypayitforward.us to learn more, get involved, and share your story. Hey there, friends. I've been thinking. We all have our strengths, right? I can do this, but I'm not so great at that. I'm pretty good at talking to people, but I'm not so great at adding things into a website or app. Oops. I love speaking, sharing stories, social media, all those hashtags and algorithms. Yeah, that's a jungle I haven't quite figured out yet. Coming up with ideas that bring folks together, I'm all about it. But bookkeeping, let's just say numbers, and I don't exactly get along. But that's okay, because someone out there is good at those things. And when we work together, magic happens. See, Community Pay It Forward has never been about one person. It's a program built by many to support even more. Every one of us brings something special to the table. We all have talents that make us great on our own. But imagine how much stronger we are when we bring all those talents together. That's what Community Pay It Forward is all about. Your skills, my skills, our hearts, working together to make a difference. So tell me, what are you good at? Let's find out together. Visit communitypayitforward.us and join the movement.
I did it again. I forgot to take the right. There's the one slide in there where it says community and it's not spelled right. Um, yeah, community, communidati, idioti, or ID, whatever. I need to get that video out and burn it. I changed it to where it actually says community, but we are looking for volunteers. I desperately need your help. We are growing, and with this growth, I just don't have the skills to keep up with it. So I need your help. And I'm looking for volunteers who, guess what? Eventually, this could turn into a paying gig. You know what? You help me get bigger. I'm going to help you maintain a lifestyle. That's what this is all about. This is about building together, supporting others, and helping others. So please, if you're interested, please get a hold of me. Let me find the correct one here. Of course, I'm not. There we go. You can get a hold of me by using my digital business card, which is my For My card, which is one of our wonderful, wonderful partners. Please check out my digital business card, my For My card. They are one of our wonderful partners, and you can get your very own. And when you do, and you say you came through Community Pay It Forward, a portion of your sales goes to somebody that you choose. You tell us where that money goes. For my card, Community Pay It Forward, all we do is we exchange a little bit of money that's going to go to support a cause you love, like the CARES Foundation.
When you join the Community Pay It Forward family, your business can be seen because people know your business will offer hope to organizations like Todd Lingle of CARES Foundation. CARES Foundation is a proud mission partner of Community Pay It Forward. CARES Foundation is dedicated to educating young drivers of the dangers of impaired and distracted driving. Every sale through Community Pay It Forward helps support incredible organizations like the CARES Foundation.
It's that simple. You buy your own digital business card through For My card, and they're going to take and give us a portion of that money that's going to go to an organization like CARES Foundation. Okay? Very simple, very easy. You can also schedule a meeting with me over here using the green QR code. I'm sorry, I got to look at my screen. I'm dizzy right now. But you can schedule a meeting with me by using my scheduler. Again, that is also on my For My card. You can schedule from there. So, coming up next, Mr. Joel White. This guy is amazing. I love him. He and I are doing some work together. He's taken me through the process, so I know what the process is. And you know what? I'm never going to say that I don't need help, because we all need somebody to help stand beside us every once in a while. Every once in a while, it feels good to have somebody stand up and say, you know what? I know things are good right now. Let's make sure they stay that way. And remind us those little things that get in your way, that just gnaw at you. We don't have to let them explode. So I'm proud to bring you Joel White and our show, Rewired for Men. We have an announcement coming up in May. Well, about May. The announcement is going to be made way before May. Matter of fact, we talk about it a little bit here on this episode of Rewired for Men. So, ladies and gentlemen, my friend Joel White. You know, it's really kind of funny, Joel. I listened to that song, and I've been listening to a lot of music history throughout the last week or two. Megadeth, which is my favorite band of all time, has announced that they are releasing their last studio album. They're going to be retiring after this multi-year tour. So I've been going back and rediscovering the history of a lot of rock and stuff like that, and that your the theme song that we picked for you has a little bit of that punk sound to it, that early British punk sound to it. So I think it fits almost perfect. Hey everybody, it's Zak Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, with my friend, with my giving partner, Mr. Joel White. Joel, how you doing today, brother?
I'm all right, mate. It makes me smile when I hear the music come in. But also the comment you said there, do rock bands actually ever retire? Do they just retire when they die, when they fall off stage into a coffin? Do they ever?
It's actually kind of funny. I'm not sure if I think that retiring for a lot of these bands is, Ozzy is officially retired.
Well, yeah, of course he is.
He's dead now. He's finally retired, because you have bands like, God, how many times is Kiss retired? How many times is Motley Crue retired? I mean, these guys retire like weekly, and then they're coming back. My genre of music, Slayer retired like 3 years ago. They're back, So,
But joke aside, I know this wasn't the point we were going to go with, but that says it all about men. Men don't like retirement, because if you actually look when men retire, it's astronomical how many actually die within 2 to 3 years from retirement. They just pop the clogs because they lose that sense of identity and purpose. So joke aside, you can see why these rock bands that are mainly male keep going to the very end.
I really think that has to do with, it seems like having that time off is so exciting, because there's a lot of times we dedicate a lot of our lives to working, and we get excited about having all of that time off and be able to do the fun stuff that, that we've neglected throughout our work lives. And then we start to realize, oh, wait a minute, I don't have the money to continue this, one. And two, it's kind of hard to fill some free time every once in a while,
Yeah, it's not just that. You do all the things you wanted to do in the first 2 to 3 years, and then potentially you've got another 23 years after that.
Yeah.
Do what with it? You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I actually had to come to that realization after my accident, and I had, retirement kind of thrust upon me due to my physical limitation. I always tell people that, look, I'm not set up right now to where I can go get a real man's job, because I don't know what my head's going to feel like in a day. I don't know
Yeah.
if I can go and perform a real job, because there are days that I just simply don't have it in me.
Yeah.
And so, but the thought of just sitting around the house and watching hockey, that sounds great. Sounds great. But realistically, it's not that much fun. You get too bored. And yeah, I mean, I love my family. I love my family. I love being with my family, but there's doses, I mean, and I joke about this, but let's be honest. During the COVID years, when everybody was put at home, how many divorces were there because you realized, oh my God, I love these people, but I got to get the hell away from them?
Yeah.
You know?
I think COVID was very much the make or break for a lot of marriages and relationships.
Yeah. Well, it is kind of funny that, during the first part of COVID, we had that birth increase. And during the last part of COVID, we had the divorce increase.
Yeah.
So, everybody was excited that I get to be at home with the woman that I love. Oh my God, I'm still at home with the woman I loved. And I think, Joel, that's one of the other things that we experience, like during the holidays, when you have families over, when you have friends over, party expectations, all these things that men take, and we tend to forget that we have support systems.
Yeah.
No, our partners, we tend to forget that they're there um, to help us with all this, and we put these expectations on ourselves, and we end up driving ourselves crazy because of them.
It's not just that. We don't just drive ourselves crazy with it. We cut ourselves off from others as well. And very much what I talk about through the Guide for Men is men really do struggle mainly in three areas of their lives: money, work, and relationships. And very much the one what you're talking about there with relationships, that they might be physically there, but mentally and emotionally they're not. They're somewhere else. Whether that's numbing out the excuse me, whether that's numbing out the emotions that are too difficult, or they're in their inbox upstairs, do you know what I mean, on the computer, or a variety of them can come together. You mentioned before, it's even right what you said before, it's Thanksgiving Day coming up in the US. And it's that thing, the pressure coming on to be the man of the house, the one to provide, to want to make it work, or blah, 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 and all the rest of it. A lot of time, women would say, they're the ones which have got to make it, they're the ones who do all the cooking. And there's a lot of truth in that. But there's also a lot of pressure on the man to be the father, or be the son, or be whatever it is. When the relatives come round, and it's not always easy, is it?
Yeah, no, it's most definitely not. Let me take and go in a little bit of a different direction here. And the closest holiday we have, of course, is Halloween, or Diwali, which is going on right now.
Yeah.
And a lot of that has to do with, there's the responsibility on, you want to be involved, you want to be with your friends, you want to be that, you want to maintain that cool aspect of your life. But you got to be careful that you're not that cool guy who lit the freaking house on fire because you decided you were going to take and light a firework out your butt. How do we as men make sure that we're not that clown that, people are going to remember me forever from this party? Well, yeah, because you burned your house down. It's easy to remember that fool.
I think if anything, we've touched on this before. The biggest issue with men is when they become emotionally ungrounded, disconnected, whatever phrase you want to do it. They either head off downwards to the man's area. It's going to come on it and think with that, or they don't think at all. I think.
Yeah.
And it's about just taking a step back and just having a breather. But again, we've touched on this. Men men are very external in how we express ourselves. And if we are in a healthy place, that's great. And if we're not in a healthy place, then we tend to express that perhaps not in the healthiest way. And that can be very outwards, doing stupid things. But also, you throw into the mix, for some men, any excuse for a drink, whether it's Diwali or Thanksgiving, it's got a potential to go very badly wrong. And particularly, we were talking, you brought it in there. The amount of injuries that happen to men and boys over bonfire night is just horrendous. Because you do stupid stuff with fireworks or bonfires or whatever it is. It's really poor. And it just needs a bit of common sense. If you've got a firework, don't light it in your hand and put it down on the ground and walk away from it. Don't attack each other with sparklers while they're lit. It's basically funny and common sense shit. But a lot of people lack that after a few drinks, or they want to show off in front of their mates. It goes badly wrong.
Yeah, and let's be honest here. Truthfully, that's one of the funniest things in the world to see is when that happens to somebody. But still, it's not really one of those things that you should do. I mean, we were talking about it a little bit as we were coming on, but I remember back some of the stuff that I would do when I was younger, which is just dumb. Yeah, I mean some of the decisions, and I don't believe in accidents because I knew fully what I was doing. I wasn't thinking about the ramifications of them, but stuff like on Halloween night, I would take with a can of WD-40, spray down my arms and answer the door and light my arms on fire and scare the hell out of kids, and it didn't burn until the WD-40 burned off. You better hope to God that you're done waving your arms by then, because it gets hot real fast. But those are stupid things, that we think in that moment, oh my God, this is going to be, it's that whole hold my beer syndrome, oh, this is going to be funny, hold my beer. And it's like, no, dumbass, stop. Let's think with realistic brain.
Absolutely. And that's quite interesting what you said. Anxiety is a really useful thing in moderation. And if it's not in moderation, we have too much of it, obviously. It becomes very deliberating, particularly for men. But if we don't listen to that, that's when you do really stupid stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Really stupid stuff. And unfortunately, it can be very, very disastrous, to say the least.
Right.
But the also interesting thing, which again, I think we touched on it before, the thing what you say is absolutely spot on, and I completely agree with it. And I've started saying that to a lot of people. We don't make mistakes. There's no such thing. We make poor choices.
Yeah.
And in that as well is the ability to then take personal responsibility and accountability. And that's absolutely paramount. And I think it all comes back to that, whether you around fireworks or alcohol or family coming over, all the rest of it. It really is important to really pay attention to that. Keep your head on more than anything else. What might be funny in the moment might not be in 5 minutes time, 10 minutes time, all the rest of it. So it's like, again, it's kind of related to this. There's a community centre that I'm aware of where they hire out for private parties, and they were having a party, and for some reason some guy thought it'd be a great idea to bring a barbecue inside that has a gas bottle. So you can imagine what happened to the gas bottle. It exploded and pretty much burnt the building down. So, just lack of thought, complete thought, and hence that's what happened from that degree. Just utter stupidity, really.
Yeah, that there's a reason why those things are when I was a truck driver, they always warned you, don't light these little, the like hot plates and stuff inside your truck, take them outside the truck. Well, there's a reason for that. First off, it's toxic. Uh, second off, it's just dumb. What the hell are you doing? You you're in an enclosed place and you're going to light something on fire. All right, yeah, but you know, I think the biggest message with all this is really simply, okay, look, it's great to have fun.
Yeah.
Having fun, having a couple drinks with the buddies, having a couple drinks with the family, all good. Everything is great. You want to go a little wild, do you have a designated driver? Have at it. Just remember waking up the next morning and thinking you had a great time and finding out that you were the ass of the party. That's never fun. And that leads to a lot of problems. It's like going, oh my God, now I got to face these people in a couple more weeks at the next holiday, or I've got to, I got to make myself a hermit and never see people again because, well, I ain't going to embarrass myself like that again.
Absolutely. There's something else in there as well, which is, we touched on this before, the other side of the coin. I'm guessing for a lot of individuals, and we're talking about many women would find themselves in a similar position, but we're talking about male perspective. That coming up to Thanksgiving, a lot of men may actually find themselves by themselves. They might not have a family to be around. And that can be a really lonely, shitty, dark place. And I can really feel that being the case for some men who find themselves in that situation. Do you know what I mean? And again, it can be really easy to turn to the alcohol or turn to whatever it is. And if anything, what I would say, again, obviously I can speak on behalf of the UK, there are support groups out there for men where you can get together and you're not alone. And they're not necessarily crisis groups either. They are groups for men to come together. So in the UK, we've got quite I don't know about you guys in the US, we've got quite a famous one in the UK called Andy's Man Club. And Andy's Man Club's groups, they're pretty much nationwide. They all happen all over the UK on a Monday night in a particular venue. And they're just a good place for men to go and just be that way. Particularly you're coming up to around family celebrations. You've got a place where you can be around other men to build community, isn't it? Without the alcohol, without the drugs, without whatever it is. And obviously, I'm guessing those ones are in the US, but it's important to, reach out for those sort of places. Do that. You're not alone. You don't have to stay at home alone and being the four walls.
We've got an event coming up, Joel, that is going worldwide, and you're going to be helping me talk to a lot of the men who are going to be potentially facing these holidays alone, helping to talk them and suggest to them some of the other things that we can do, because the truth is, look, the truth is that everybody really needs to understand. Remember that there are people out there who are like that. Young, old, whatever, of all ages. That there are people who, have lost something or somebody in their life to where they want to go and they don't want to do the big celebration thing.
Yeah.
Just remember to reach out to them and make them not feel so alone. Just because they're not going to come with you and to this big family get together because they're not in that mode right now.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that they don't need somebody there with them.
Absolutely. Again, you've hit on something there, and it's one of the wellbeing workshops that I deliver. And one of the things I mention in there is, how often do we actually ask somebody, are they okay? But actually, are they really okay? How often do we follow it up? Because usually you say to a man, are you okay? They go, I'm fine. You're all right. Move on. But are they actually fine? Do you know what I mean? Are they actually okay? I think it would be important just spending a little bit of time, even if it's 5 minutes, just following through on that. How often do we actually pick up the phone and ring somebody than like text or send a WhatsApp message or whatever. How often do we do that? Do that connection. If anything, which is really, really interesting, in a world so connected, we're actually so cut off and lonely from that degree because we don't have the same level of personal connection anymore with each other. You know what I mean? It's not hard to ring somebody up and speak with them.
When you say that, Joel, how often do we sit there and go, "Well, it's their fault. They weren't honest with me." But the truth is how many times are they not honest with themselves?
Yeah.
We have a tendency, and I say this all the time to people who are in a situation. They're like, you know what? I'm okay right now. That's okay. But what happens if all of a sudden you're not okay and you've pushed away people who are willing to help you, and now they're going to sit there and go, you know what? Now I just don't have the bandwidth.
Yeah. No, it's very true. Granted as well, some of the relationships you might have around you may come to an end. People's priorities, people's needs change. But that doesn't mean you become a hermit crab and cut everybody off. If anything as well, and again, this is part of what I talk about in one of the courses that I do, or when I'm working one-to-one with men. Have something at least 4 times a week that gets you out of the house. Whether that's walking a dog or going doing yoga or meeting somebody for a mate at a pub for a pint or some chips or food, whatever. At least have 5 things. Most people can come up with 5 things that gets them out of the house, to socialise or do something. You know what I mean? It's not it's not hard to do that. And if you think you're doing each of those activities for an hour, that's 5 hours out of how many hours there are in a week. They can really help you, get involved with somebody else. One of the things we have in the UK, and I don't know if it's in the US as well, it's worth looking up in the US, is there was an initiative set up by a guy back in, I think around early to mid-2000s. And he came up with a concept of, we have in the UK this thing about fruit and veg. If you eat your 5 a day, at least a balanced diet, blah, 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 yeah. And most people can get that. Most people can work with that. Most people do that. And the guy was like, wouldn't it be interesting to come up with something similar for mental health and well-being, where there's 5 things, people can remember them, people can roll with it. And what that led to is a concept of 5 ways to well-being. And I actually build this into my men's groups when I do them, but also when I'm working one-to-one with men. And, if you Google it, 5 ways to well-being, you can find it. And in those 5 ways to well-being, there are 5 things. And the first one, which is what we touch on a lot, is to connect. Connect with other people. Ring them up. Go and see somebody face-to-face. That physical connection. The next one is be active. So be active could be going to the gym, it could be swimming, but it can also be housework or walking around the block, or gardening. Anything that raises your heart rate is enough to be classed as being active, as far as government guidelines are concerned. You keep learning. Do you know what I mean? Do something that keeps your brain active.
Yeah.
Whether that's a jigsaw puzzle or a course or Sudoku or a crossword or reading the magazine or going to a museum, whatever it is, do something that keeps your head going. Take notice. How often do you actually look around you in your environment? A lot of guys walking on the mobile phones or they got their heads down looking at the ground. How often do you pay attention to actually really listen or see or hear or smell or touch or whatever? Just not be an autopilot. Or how often you actually just sit with your thoughts and your emotions. And the last one is give. And we touch on this quite a lot. Give could be anything from your time, like volunteering, to a smile. to ringing somebody up. One of the most precious resources we all have in this world is time. Nobody knows how much time we've got left, which only adds to how precious it is for each of us. But how often do we actually make the most of that time in our day? How often do we do that? How often do we waste it worrying about things that aren't actually that important, or doing tasks that aren't that actually important? Do you know what I mean? And these 5 things together make up the 5 ways to well-being. And if you're doing, say, one activity, you might find yourself doing all of them. So, you've got a dog, Zach, so I'm guessing you walk your dog, yeah? So when you go out and walk your dog, chances are you're going to speak to the dog owners. So you're going to connect with them, yeah? You're being active because you're walking your dog. You've got exercise. You're taking notice to what your dog's doing and what's around you. So
Usually when I'm walking my dogs, my main problem is, oh my God, I'm trying to walk 3 very large dogs and they're wrapped around my feet. What am I going to do?
So you're definitely taking notice because they're dragging you along the floor.
You are most definitely taking notice. There is no chance of me being not in that area. My mind is definitely right there. It's like, come on, Ghost. Rose, stop that. Baby girl, let's go. Ghost? Actually, it's usually Ghost. Ghost is the one who's always doing something. So, but yeah, with what you were saying, Joel, I know that one of the things that really helps me, and this is something that I have become very, very reacquainted to this last couple weeks because of my nephew, but helping people through something that I've been through, just not going in and offering help, but going in and saying, this is what I went through. And if there's any questions you have, I'm here. Okay.
Yeah.
Walking up to somebody who's been in a motorcycle accident, whether they've got brain injuries, whether they got a broken leg, whether they're just, trying to figure things out. I've had people call me before and say, hey, can I just talk to you? And going in and being able to talk to them, ask them, what questions are you having right now? Do you have anything that you want to, hear from me? Tell me what you need me to do, and it's always been something that's been a little difficult for me to do, walk into another accident victim's room.
Yeah.
But it's always been something that when I walk out of the room, I know that I'm a better person inside myself than when I was when I walked in. And hopefully I've helped answer a few questions, which is so much more important than even the way I feel.
Absolutely. And literally, absolutely beautiful. You said that's literally what give is. That's what give is. Give is giving time, giving support, sharing experiences, lived experiences. And it's like, my men's group, we usually get about 8 to 10 guys who rock up face to face on a Monday morning, 11 till 1 p.m. Most of them would say, do you know what I mean? That starts their week off by them coming and connecting and sharing experiences. And you can't put a price on that. And some of the conversations we talk about, they're pretty deep. Men do talk. Men go a lot deeper than women, respect to women, by the way. But men do. If given the right space, they really will go into the darkness, the skeleton in the cupboard. They'll bring it out on the table. You need someone to start that conversation, but then it rolls through. Then it opens up from that degree. And like you said, it can really make a difference. I was working with a guy, I think last week or the week before, and he had been sectioned for a period of time. And the conversation opened up into, what I'm working through. And he was like, have you ever been sectioned? I said, well, I've not been sectioned. I know the men who have, but I have been voluntary sectioned, where I made the choice to go into a unit for 7 days till my head was an absolute utter mess. So I can relate to some degree. And like you said there, I could answer some questions or thoughts from my perspective.
Yeah.
And then that helped him reflect on things a bit differently based on his experience. And, in another conversation with another man, it came around suicide attempts. And I said, yeah, well, I can't understand yours because everybody's different. But from my personal perspective, I've attempted to take my life on 2 occasions. And it was going to be able to, talk to that one person about that and what had happened and what perhaps was going. That's right. It wasn't them directly. It was their brother-in-law who had attempted to take his own life. So I was able to kind of go, well, look, you know what I mean? This is a really interesting topic from the perspective of that. And if you ever speak to your brother-in-law, I'm happy having a chat with him. These are some of the things that came for me over to you if you want to do that. And like you said, in those conversations, yeah, you're being really vulnerable. For me, vulnerability is the greatest strength of all what a man can be. But what you get out of those conversations, like you said there, you come out a better person. You planted a seed with somebody who will go and do something with that. And that's just powerful, really, massively powerful.
Yeah, I know that, in which I know that we're talking about men's health, but I think that it's the same with women when it comes to this. But Adrian, my wife, every Friday she goes and she volunteers at the shelter, with animals, and that takes a special person. I'm going to tell you right now, that takes a person that I couldn't do that because I seriously. We've got enough animals in this house, and if I start doing that, we're going to have more. Okay.
Menagerie.
Yeah, that's just the way it's going to be. There's going to be so many. We'll be overrun because I see, an animal, and I'm like, oh god. And I'm funny because I'm the guy who sits there and goes, "You're not bringing home any more damn animals." Yet I go and I'm the one who walks in the house. And I'm that guy that's sitting there looking at her going, shut up. Because I know I'm a hypocrite. I know, but yeah, I know that when Adrian goes and she gets home, you can see the change in her. That, her work week is over. She knows we've got a weekend full of stuff to do, but her stress level is way, way, way down because she went and she did something that made her feel so good inside.
Yeah.
And knows she did good for somebody, as for something other than herself.
Yeah.
And we've all got that animal shelter. Okay. We've all got that home shelter, or like you said, a suicide support group or something like that. We've all got something that we could go and speak to.
Yeah.
It really has to do with what we say on Never Shut Up. Make sure that if you're going in, you're not just talking about, you're not going to sit there and talk to somebody about glamorizing your suicide attempt and help them. You're going to say, this is what I was going through.
Yeah.
This is what I was going through. I don't know if this sounds familiar or not, but this is what I went through. This is what I did, and this is what got me through that feeling. If you walk in and you have honest, open conversations with people, Joel, what can that do to somebody hearing it?
Well, it's massive. The clear bit what you said there was when you come into conversations that are perhaps going to be uncomfortable or difficult, you go in with the eye from your perspective, your personal perspective. You know what I mean? Not from the we or anything like that, because the worst thing you can say to somebody is, I understand what you went through. No, you can't. You can't understand me at all. Not at all. It's actually really insulting.
Yeah.
When somebody says stuff like that.
And I need to reiterate, that is very insulting. When you say something like that, there is no worse turnoff. To me personally, if you say, oh, I know exactly what you're talking about, or, oh, tell me about it, or, any of these kind of pass it off terms.
Yeah.
It's just like, look, if I can't talk to you about this, then I'm just going to walk away.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And very much, a lot of time, if I don't really know the person, I actually say to them, I can never understand what you're being through because I'm not you. I'm not even pretending to be, but I can only go off from my perspective of reality. And this is what it looks like personally for me and what it looked like for me. You know, and that's a healthier way to start these conversations and build these conversations, put them from that perspective. You know, if anything, you can't go too far wrong with the other and with I. But we get off piece but related. If you find yourself having a breakdown of communication with your wife or partner, the worst thing you can do is go, use you. It's you. Because again, you know it's going to go badly wrong. You know, again, always start with I think, I feel. Because no one can take that away from you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As soon as you deviate off that, you know it's going to be a bad outcome. I'm yet to come across somebody who's had a good outcome to an argument using you. It's just not going to happen.
Right. And it's so simple because if you hear the words, you know, you never listen to me, instead of jumping off the handle going, yes, I do. I listen to you all the time. You know, I mean, why do you think I'm so frustrated? I listen to you all the damn time. No, that's not where I was going with this. But instead, what am I not hearing?
Yes.
Just a simple question. What am I not hearing? You take the offensiveness out of that, and you really put the focus on them to tell you what they need you to hear.
Absolutely. And that literally relates back to the other point as well. When those difficult conversations are occurring, just take a step back. You know what I mean? You know, again, a classic one for a man. You know, this came up in a conversation. And absolutely right. You know, we are men are natural fixers. We want to fix everything.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it's not always the best approach to go straight in there and go, I can fix that. So perhaps a person doesn't want that fixing. They just want to be heard. You know, a lot of people in today's society, because the nature of it is, there's two things a lot of us crave because of the nature of the society we're in. It's to be heard and to be seen. You know, those two are absolutely crucial because a lot of people don't feel seen. They don't feel heard. And I know at parts in my life, I remember when I was in my early 20s, I felt I didn't matter. I felt that I wasn't seen. I'd almost pretend walking along that I was invisible and nobody saw me. That's the mindset I got into in my early 20s. And it's not a great place to be because that is a massive indicator of your own self-esteem, that you think and feel that you're not seen and you're not heard. It's not a great place to be. So if somebody is taking a risk to start a conversation, any conversation, give them the space where you can see and you can hear them. And you've got a greater chance then they'll perhaps open up. And again, completely related to this, off topic but related, I put an advert in a community magazine about my men's groups that I do to kind of attract more men to come along. And it goes out into various venues in the area that I live. And I just missed call. And I rang it back, and it was a lady, she was a grandmother. And she's like, oh, you know, I saw your men's group, this, that, and the other. I gave her the time. You know, some men would have gone, yeah, whatever, love, wrong number, blah, blah, blah. But I just gave her the time. And you know, it transcribes that she's really worried about her grandson. He's, you know, in his 30s. I won't go into it because obviously people might connect the dots. But there's stuff going on for him at home. He doesn't leave his home. I'm like, okay, fair enough. So I had a little chat going, you know, this is how you could have a conversation with him, give him the time, give him the space, you know, plant a seed, say you spoke with me, this is my web address, get him to look at it. If he's interested, you've got my number, I'm here. I'm happy to give him a bit of time. And while I'm on the phone, for you, you know, what do you do with your time? Oh, well, I do a bit of this. Well, have you thought about doing A, B, and C? And it was a 10-minute conversation maximum, but she went away feeling more confident, heard, and seen in a way, because I gave her that time. I gave her ideas for her and for her son. Guess who called me today? Her son.
Yep.
Her son called me today. He reached out. I missed a call because I was somewhere else. He left an answering machine message, and I called it back. I called him back, and again, for him to do that was massive. And he apologised for the fact that I had to call him back. I'm like, what are you apologising for? Do you know what I mean? If anything, you really need to celebrate the fact that you've picked up the phone, or rang a complete stranger with whatever's going on for you. It's not easy, and you've done it. You've done the hardest bit. And that's why I've rang you back, to really acknowledge that. Whether you come along to my men's group's entirely up to you. I would love you to come to that. It's only a small group, 8 to 10 men, various men that attend. I'm not there every week. I'm going to be here on that day, on a particular Monday. I'll meet you outside. But I'm not going to chase you up. You've got my number. Get in touch. And again, a 5-minute conversation might not come along, Zach, but he will remember that somebody gave him the time of day, heard him, and potentially, hopefully, will see him. Took 5 minutes, that conversation.
I think you also you really touched on something that's very valuable there, and that is that what you can't tell somebody when it's time to heal.
No.
They, your timing on, your decision on my healing time is useless. Okay. Yeah. I need to take my own time, and we need to remember that, we need to remember that, what, our thoughts of someone else's life doesn't mean anything. Yeah. We're all different people. We need to come at things. We need to make sure that we're respecting each other's individuality, because, look, this is something I was able to get over. And, look, here's one of the things that, me personally, I was smoking 3 packs of cigarettes every day. Okay. I was able to set a time, a date, and I quit smoking. I have not picked up a cigarette now in over 17 years.
Yeah.
Do I say that everybody can do that? Of course I'm going to say everybody can do it. Will everybody? That's up to them.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to sit there and I'm not going to walk up to somebody, because the other thing I can't stand is, oh, you could do that, but there's no way I could. Well, yeah, you can. You can, if you decide that that's what you, that's who you are. I mean, but, if somebody really wants to quit and they want to come to me and ask me what I did, I'll tell them.
Yeah.
I'll also tell them, but remember, there are other options out there. So don't think that if what I did, if it doesn't work for you, don't give up with that. If you truly want to end this, you got to keep working, because this is one option. And just because it worked for me does not mean it's going to work for you.
And I think that's beautiful what you said. The temptation can be when somebody does come for you for support or ask you a question, that you go, well, it worked for me, so it'll also work for them. No, it doesn't mean that at all. You should always, when I have these conversations, I always do, the get out of jail free card, when you play Monopoly scenario, that I'll always finish conversation, this is what worked for me. It might not work for you. You do what's best for you. And that clearly is putting the responsibility back on them. Because what I don't want them to do is go away and do what I told them to do, because it worked for me. And then they come back and go, well, that didn't work. Do you know what I mean? Well, yeah.
Yeah. I just think of it this way, Joel. When was the last time you heard a commercial where 10 out of 10 dentists suggest that, chewing this? It's never 10 out of 10. It's always 9 out of 10 or something like that. There's always a chance it's not going to work for someone. Okay.
Absolutely.
And just because it worked for you does not mean it is right for everyone. We've got to got to get that out of our heads. This is what you need to do. Okay. If you do it this way, you're going to succeed. Possibly.
Yeah.
But if we do that to people, you're putting it in their head that if I don't succeed this way, I have no hope.
And what you said there is absolutely crucial, because that's where a lot of men can find themselves. They fall in love with these ideas or these particular men they see as role models. And I think sometimes some of these role models don't realise the impact they can have. So, again, as an example, was a really interesting health and wellbeing event yesterday, and it was related to mental health and sport. And there's lots of mental health concerns in sport, particularly in elite sport, and what this is now coming more to the surface. And what they had there was a guy who, for a very fluid part of his career, was really, really good. But he had lots of other stuff going on for him as well. And when he was younger, when he was starting to start that journey toward professional football, another professional footballer at the time, he was called, I'm not going to mention names, but he was at that time, he was the top of his game. And he said to this young lad, not knowing anything really about him or what was going on at home or anything like that, you're doing incredibly well. You'll be worth millions one day. You keep doing what you're doing. The amount of pressure that young boy took on his shoulders was immense. Yeah. And then when he was going through his really difficult time, where was this player? Where were the other players? There were nowhere to be seen. He was just left with that hole. Do you know what I mean? Granted, he obviously made some poor decisions along the way, but you don't need somebody saying that to you. And then you've got to carry that. That's all the unconscious belief stuff, what I talk about. We've got to be mindful sometimes when we do say certain things, particularly to younger people. Is this actually going to be a benefit to them? And potentially impact is it going to have on them?
I think that right there is a good. I think that's a good lesson for parents when it comes to their kids in sports, because you know what, your kid is one math problem away from not being able to play. Okay, yeah. And if that happens, your kid's going to have that pressure of failing the math problem. Plus, oh my God, my career is done.
Yeah.
There's not a career there yet. All right. You got to earn that. And there's a lot, we put pressure, way too much pressure on our kids anyway, but maybe we can get into that later. Joel, we have decided that we want to do something coming up in May, the 10th through the 16th is National Mental Health Awareness Week. And you and I want to do a series of videos throughout this week and really talk. We want to have some guests on to help us give encouragement to men every day of that week and put together like a little block of interviews that men can go back and remind themselves every day that this is something that we can do to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves and really lift up our spirits. We unfortunately did not get to record before the Mental Health Day, which was on the 10th. But this is a celebration of something that, like Footprints Forward, we started doing Footprints Forward because I was talking about suicide on the 22nd of February every year and then just walked away from it. And I decided that, no, we can't do this. This is something that we need to do every day. So we're going to try to help people out starting with this week.
And I think that's a great idea, and we've talked about this all the time. We want men to come forward between now and obviously May that's next year, who are willing just to be part of this, building this. If anything, being a bit vulnerable to help others out there. And I want to really reiterate that vulnerability, guys, is not a weakness. It's a real strength. Vulnerability means to be open. Unfortunately, where a lot of men have perhaps dropped the ball, they haven't perhaps chosen well enough the people they are opening up to. And unfortunately, when that occurs, you won't get particularly great responses. You'll either get somebody who will shout at you, or you'll get somebody who'll dive for a tissue box, stick a tissue in your face, or you get some people going, "Oh, well, let me tell you about my problem."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And if you get that, that's not your fault. That's their fault. That's where they're at. So don't just shut down and give up. Do you know what I mean? You'll find somebody you can be real with. And I think that's really important.
Right. And guys, let me also make one more point here, okay? If you're a guy who's looking for help, if you're looking for places to look for a solution, come and join us, because look at this. If you don't want other people to know who you are, maybe you don't want to be on camera, maybe you are a little shy, watch this. Okay, we can help you get through this. Joel can definitely help you. I'm just a guy who thinks he knows things. So,
But you do know things like, the beauty of why it works between us, we've both made some dumbass decisions in our life, but we've learned from them. That's the richness of lived experience. And again, this comes up all the time. We are all, I say this all the time to people, we are the world's best storytellers of our own lives.
yeah.
And whether you want to cast that as good, bad, or ugly is entirely up to us. But what matters is, what do you do about it now? Because what you do about it now determines what comes next. So what story do you want to write going forward for your life?
That's right. You know what? There's never. Oh, look. We've all done those shameful things that we sit back. We'll be doing something. We're driving around, and all of a sudden we'll have that memory. It's like, oh my God, what the hell was I thinking when I did that? Had nothing to do with what's going on, but all of a sudden that thought hits your head, and then it sticks in there for a little while. Remember, that was a decision you made then. That's not you now.
Yeah.
Okay. You need to work from there forward, build who you are now. Because wish it all you want, you're not going to be able to go back in time and fix that. So just improve yourself from now.
Absolutely.
From right now, this next thing you do, does that portray who you truly are? Focus on that, and you don't have to worry. You're still going to worry about what you've done before, but you know what? Show people who you are. That is the strongest way to show people who you are, is to show them who you are.
Absolutely.
This is who I am now.
Absolutely. You know what the greatest test of that is? You find the same scenario happening again, you're obviously not learning. You're still in the mindset of making mistakes.
Yeah.
The reason why it's happening again is because you've not learned what you need to learn.
Right. And also, just don't think that you're in a life that, you know what, you're not going to make poor decisions. We're all going to make poor decisions at some point in time. Just don't make blatantly poor decisions. And it's easy to do. We can all pick the wrong thing every once in a while, okay? We can all say the wrong thing at the wrong time. We're going to hear something that somebody says and take it wrong every once in a while. It's going to happen. We're going to make the wrong decisions. We're going to say the wrong thing. We're going to do the wrong thing at the wrong time. That's going to happen. How are you going to react?
Yeah.
That is going to show who you really are. So,
absolutely. And again, it's brilliant where this conversation goes. In life, what I say to a lot of people, we can't control anything. We might think we can, but we can't control anything. People, places, situations, events, nothing. The only thing we can control is how we choose to react or respond to situations, events, people, and places. When you respond, the chances are it's going to usually have a better outcome for you, not you as in first you, and the other situation, event, or person. Not guaranteed, because remember, we can't control anything, but you've got a greater chance of it being a more healthier outcome in you responding than reacting. You know what I mean? And it is plain and simple. Yeah, we all lose our cool sometimes. We all fly off the handle. I get it, but it's really important for us to do that less often and less
Yeah.
intense.
Yeah. Yeah.
And own it. Own it. You know, I hear a lot of times from men, well, my divorce broke down because it was all her fault, or that relationship came to because it was all her fault, or that happened because it's the policeman's fault, or that happened because it's the driver's fault. It's like, no. There's two people in every situation, whether you like it or not. There's you and the other person. And you have a role to play in that as well. And that can be difficult to hear if the man's in a very difficult, abusive relationship or whatever it is. It takes two people. It takes two people in that relationship. But if you decide it ain't healthy, then you need to make a decision. Because staying in the same situation don't mean it's going to get any better, is it, Zach? It's just going to get worse.
Very true. As the old saying goes, there's your story, there's their story, and then there's the truth. So, you know, and that's just that's the way situations go. So, Joel, you can be found on Instagram, on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Just look for Rewired for Men, Rewired for Men 2 on Facebook, as you can see below in all this information. But one of the easiest ways that you can go and find anything you need about Joel is by using this QR code right here. It takes you to his page on our website, which has all of his information, including the getting a free cup of coffee with this man. You can sit there and you can talk to him, have a conversation with him, talk to him, get to know him a little bit. Maybe he can convince you to come on the show and talk to other people, tell people what you're going through. Because look, guys, the truth is we've all gone through things. We've all gone through things. We're all going through things. Currently, everyone's got something that they're trying to get through.
Yeah.
If we can talk about it, if we can be honest with ourselves, and if we can be honest with each other, it's going to be a hell of a lot easier to get through it. If you stay quiet and in a corner, chances are those problems are going to be harder to handle. So, Joel, any last words before we go, brother?
I think we've, all I can say, it's always been a pleasure doing these shows with you. And I really do feel that any man who watches this, take away from it, you're not alone. And other people have been through similar, not the same as you, but similar.
Yep.
And that's really important to take those two points away.
Yep, that is so important. There's no look. Truth is, and I've said this before. Human beings have been around a day or two. You're probably not going to hit a situation that another person hasn't had something similar to them. Okay, you're going to have to go way out there to find a situation that nobody's experienced ever.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but we will be back next month, and we're going to continue to talk a little bit about holidays. And if you have a fear that's coming up due to the holidays, if you have expectations that you're having trouble meeting, this is a gentleman that you want to talk to. He's got a wonderful, wonderful program that can help you be within yourself, be you, the true you. Okay? You cannot be you being someone else. You've got to be true you, true to you. So, Joel, brother, happy Halloween. I know that you're going through full daddy phase right now, so you got some exciting things coming up the next couple of weeks. Yeah. I remember Halloween was one of my favorite times, but that's because I'm a fat guy, and somebody giving away free candy, I'm all about it.
Brilliant. And then you got you get your red suit on for Christmas.
Yeah. So, there you go. All right, everybody. Hey, for Joel White, my name is Zak Clayton. You've been watching Rewired for Men right here on the PAC channel. We invite you to check out our playlist, which is available on our which is available on our YouTube channel. And Joel, it's available on yours now as well, right?
Not quite there, put it on there, but we're getting there, Zach.
We're getting there, but it's here for you. It's here for us. Just as we are, we're here for you all. So please join us next time right here on Rewired for Men. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey friends, I'm Barry, and I'm cooking up some special because chili tastes better when it helps others. Join me and my great friends at Community Pay It Forward and Key Largo Lounge on November 2nd at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard, Key Largo. 3621 West 10th Street in Greeley, Colorado. This winter, we're collecting books and board games for kids who need a little extra warmth and joy. And reading to kids has always been a great source of comfort. Join us at the Chili Cook-Off. Bring your best recipe, your biggest heart, and a donation of books or games, good food, great fun, and a football game on the screen. It's a win-win for everyone. Thank you for helping us make a difference. Together, we're feeding minds and minds.
What if every small business purchase counts? What if every purchase could change a life? With Community Pay It Forward, your business becomes a force for good. Join the movement. Get listed. Make impact with every transaction. New customers. Your business, their mission. One app. One community. Download now at communitypayitforward.us.
So I just learned something about the new or this streaming program. They fixed one of the problems that we had before. When you turn off the camera, before you used to be able to hear the words of the person talking. It's no longer like that. So I tried to make it to where, when I turned the camera off, you could still hear me talk to prove a point that, you don't have to be on screen. But the thing is that, you know what? You can still disable your camera and people can hear you talk. So if you have something that you would like to discuss, but you don't want people to know who you are, we can still make that happen, okay? You don't have to be on camera if there's something you would like to discuss, with Joel and I, but you don't want to be on camera, that's not a problem. We still want you to come and join us. We still want people to talk over some of these problems that people are having, sensitive problems. We understand that, look, maybe you just want to, maybe you're going through something that you just want to hear somebody else's opinion on. This is a great opportunity for us to get together, and we're going to start this in May, to where we're going to get together and we're going to start having a men's group that is based on men's mental health. It's also based on work and relationships and all these other things that, we want to do it a little bit different. We want to, just take and get some men to come together, do a little bit of coaching, there's going to be a minimal fee to this. All right. It's going to be a little bit that's going to help Joel and I continue to be able to do what we're doing. We're going to use it to increase the reach of the pack channel and do some more. But it's going to be something that we're going to be able to do some coaching together. We're going to be able to do some learning and growing together. So, and it's all going to be powered by Rewired for Men. So, again, we need your stories. We want your stories. Tell us how you celebrate. Tell us how you used to celebrate. Share recipes with us. Okay? That's something you can do. Condense it down to a 15-minute recipe if you would like. Show us how to cook your favorite cookie or whatever. Hire Santa to tell a story using your children, your grandchildren's names. If you want an example of that, just visit Santa on communitypayitforward.us and you can hear a story written by Santa to my 7 grandkids. I'm going to ask a question of you all because while we were recording this, I was going through checking out my Instagram feed and something came up and there's a band that's celebrating the anniversary of an album in which I'm getting older, so there's a lot more of that than there used to be. This is one of the albums that I used to. This is a very, very, very important album to me. I used to listen to this album all damn near exclusively for like 3 straight years. I remember back when I was in my early 20s listening to this album while I was working on oil rigs, both in Kansas and here in Colorado. So, I mean, this is like 91 era. It's Death Angel Act 3. And this album meant, seemingly endless time and a room with a view. I mean, some of these songs just they meant everything to me, and then it's just, oh God, I was so excited. Let me ask you a question. What album are you waiting to, or event? What album or event would you like to celebrate the most? I'm not going to say that this is the album that I want to celebrate the most because I don't know if there is one that I would want to celebrate the most. And actually, if there was, it's probably past. It's already been celebrated, but and I'm not talking about like your kids' birthdays or something like that, but was there an event? Was there a movie that when it came out, it meant so much to you in the growth of who you are that you would like to celebrate that happening again? Because Death Angel is going to be in Denver at the Oriental Theater on November 26th. And I just told my wife, going to concerts is hard for me because I am deaf in my right ear. I will have to pack my right ear so the headaches don't get terrible, but I'm going to this show. I think that Oob is going to be going with me, and he likes some of Death Angel's later stuff. He really liked another album that came out much later. Of course, hell, Oob wasn't born in 2000 until 2001. So I mean, it's funny how generational sometimes, some of these bands have been around that long. But yeah, I'm excited about this November 26th Oriental Theater. What album, what event would you like to celebrate the most when it comes to, pop culture, music? If I don't care if they're still around, so you can't do it. I would love to see, I would love to see Typo Negative come back with a celebration of October Rust. That can't happen. Peter Steele's dead. That one still hurts me personally, but Peter Steele's gone. So they can't come back around. But what, true or de facto or just dream, what would be that thing that you would love to celebrate? So thank you to Joel. Thank you to yourself for joining us. Please enjoy your day. Enjoy your week. Take care of each other, okay? It's enough. We've had enough. No more butting heads. Let's come together, because we can do this. We can celebrate each other. We can celebrate our differences. We can learn from each other this way. All right? Please make sure you love somebody out there, because somebody out here loves you. My name is Zak Clayton, president and founder of Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the PAC channels. Remember, we are the company where every purchase from one of our partners means you can support something you love. With Community Pay It Forward, communitypayitforward.us. Please remember that if you're not helping someone, you're hurting everyone. No one needs to go it alone when we all come together. I'll see you on Wednesday night with Community Impact.
When you join the Community Pay It Forward family, your business can be seen, because people know your business will offer hope to organizations like Todd Lingle of CARES Foundation. CARES Foundation is a proud mission partner of Community Pay It Forward. CARES Foundation is dedicated to educating young drivers of the dangers of impaired and distracted driving. Every sale through Community Pay It Forward helps support incredible organizations like the CARES Foundation.
Say, bring me home, out alone, to show me the way. You wanna hold the heart of Sunset Boulevard. Bring me here, 'cause it's not quite clear to be a part of Sunset Boulevard.